one. Seen this team 3 times this season. None of the games have been decided by more than 6 points. Just can you give me like 3 keys to this game specifically?
Mm, Probably one of the biggest keys is just the mental approach going into it. Um, my concern is just I don't want a comfortable locker room, you know, going against a locker room that I know is upset. Um, they probably feel like we stole a couple from them. So just the mental approach is going to be challenging. Um, but after that, I mean, it's about executing schemes. I think every time you play a team, you get to know them a little bit better. The players get a little bit more comfortable with coverages, what we're trying to do, what we're not trying to do, things that we can live with. So, um, plus, it's two very veteran teams. So, um, a lot of experience on both sides of the ball.
And then I know you kind of touched on this already at shoot around, but Cheyenne Parkatias made an appearance, and then I saw in photos it looked like maybe she got some shots up or something. So I'm wondering if you can just like give us a glimpse of
She appeared and then she disappeared.
like, yeah, like what was she up to today, and kind of what did that look like?
She's just getting back around the group, you know, um, getting some shots up. Believe it's her birthday tomorrow. So she's just a really nice presence to have, whether she's hooping with us or not. She's a joy to have in the locker room, always smiling, always upbeat. So you like to have those positive vibes, people around as much as possible. And then, she's just working her way back. So, um, like I said earlier, if it's possible to come back, I think she'll get it done because she's very, very determined. Um, and she's putting in a ton of work. So, we'll get wrap up tonight, head out on the road, and then hopefully see her in when we get back.
Becky, if I'm not mistaken, road team 3-0 this year, 6-0 dating back.
Say again?
The road team in this series, 3-0 this
Oh,
season,
gotcha.
6-0 dating back. What is it about this series where the road team has owned the series?
I have no idea. I don't know. A lot, a lot. I mean, if I knew that serum, we'd be undefeated on the road. Um, you know, Maybe just a lock-in factor. When you're on the road, you're kind of isolated. You don't have some of the distractions that you do at home. But that's with every home game. Why specifically? Maybe we just compete better on each other's floors. I don't know. Um, you know, these have been really two games that could have gone either way. Let's be honest here. 1, 2 possessions go differently. You're looking at a different outcome. So it's the team that's the most locked in and that can execute down the stretch because it's going to be a close game.
The big word you used at the first half of the season was effort. Regardless of 40 minutes of solid basketball, but you want an effort from everybody, 100%. Are you now seeing that, whether they're playing 40 minutes of basketball in terms of that grit that you're looking for?
Yeah, I think, coming off that last game with Atlanta, um, even more than the outcome of the game, the resiliency, the effort, the try hard factor, um, and that just, I saw a really desire um, and kind of an iron will to not lose that game. And that excites me very much because that's the instinct, that's the attitude, that's the approach. I want every game. Game 1, game 38, whatever game. I want that, like, we're going to figure whatever it takes to win. That's what we're going to do. And their lock in factor down the stretch, I think we got 9 stops in a row. To be able to depend on your defense like that is a really huge piece for us, and just building trust on that end. So, yeah, I'm happy we won the game, of course, but like what I saw during the course of the game was a lot more encouraging to me than even just the W.
Thank you. Coach, you mentioned in Callie's answer, your concern is you don't want a comfortable locker room. So are there things that you do or the players do to ensure that that doesn't happen?
I mean, I basically stay out of their space up until game time. I could go over there, poke them all or something, like make them uncomfortable, but I don't know how. uh, the approach is a mental approach, and it's done before they ever step foot in this arena, coming to the game. I want that mental work, that mental preparation already done. Now all you have to do is show up and do the work. But your lock-in factor happens before, tip-off. Um, it's human nature though. And so if there's one thing I can't stand sometimes, it's human nature. So I don't want us to have any complacency, and I want us to be in every moment.
You talked about the lock-in factor over the last 2 games specifically. Chelsea Gray, not only on the offensive end, but the defensive end as well. Have you seen that lock-in factor, and what have you seen? What changes have you seen in her?
Oh man, she's just become really valuable. I mean, she's kind of become our small ball four in some ways. She does a beautiful job defending bigs. She understands angles, footwork, but probably more than anything, she studies. So she knows people's individual moves. She knows the actions that are coming. It's like she gives herself a really good cheat sheet before she ever steps out there, you know. But she makes big plays on both ends. That can't be understated. You know, her hands, how many times she gets deflections and on bigger players, you know. She's really quite elite at guarding bigger players as a point guard.
And then we have AT and Asia, I think, should be the 2 leading candidates for MVP. What's the other matchup that is the big concern tonight?
I thought, Sabali is always a nightmare matchup for any team with her versatility and how big she is and her ability to impact both ends of the floor. And she was the one that I felt got away from us a little bit in that last game. So just, at the end of the day, we don't want to be giving away easy ones, no matter who it is. This is not a team you can really cheat off anybody. Even Nicole McConney, I mean, she's a stone cold knockdown 3-point shooter. You don't want to test those waters. DB coming in, Sammy Whitcomb, nobody's comfortable with her shooting the ball ever. So they just have a lot of different ways that can beat you. It's in a certain regard. I don't know if it's about matchups. It's just whoever steps up tonight. One of those wild card factors. Again, Kaz put a hurting on us before in the past. So they have any number of players that can step up and put a hurting on you.
Okay, earlier in the win streak, you said the team was doing their self-scouts, and I was just curious if they're still doing that and if they looked back on these 3 games and anything kind of newly they discovered.
Yeah, they're still doing it. They're still doing it. They have a meeting before they meet with us. Asia has beautiful handwriting on the board. So, I come in, we obviously have our points of emphasis, but it's a collective. They've already discussed it, their actions, their personnel, and then when we walk in, they typically meet before us, and then we walk in. I look at the board, maybe ask them some questions why they're doing a certain action or why they want to guard something a certain way, and then we go figure out what we like. Most of the time, I gotta tell you, I walk in, I'm like, I'm good with all that. Let's move on. But yeah, they've really taken a lot of ownership in it.
Coach, when you got beat by Minnesota that first game in August, when you put your head on the pillow, did you think, I think we got a 8 or 9 game streak in us after this one? But seriously, your thoughts on that loss and quickly turning things around to the point where you would be the last team anybody would want to play right now?
I've always had a lot of belief in this team. Why it didn't come together earlier on the basketball court, it's just some things take time. Mostly chemistry. There's a lot of teaching. Quite frankly, we didn't have a lot of people playing super great at the beginning. I think everybody's kind of settled in. We figured out our roles. We figured out that we're better together. And I need everybody to be who they are. I don't need anybody else to try to be a star in somebody else's role. Just star in your role, And I think we've quit pressing in certain ways and learned how to press in as a group together. And that's why you're getting the outcomes that you're getting. But, you know, you just, as a coach, you know, you just keep at it. You just keep at it. You know what works. Um, and sometimes you just have to wait until they say, okay, yeah, this actually, let's do this more.
Early in the first half of the season, you talked about your veterans, how you wanted more out of them and you wanted them to lead from their veteranship. How have you seen that change now in the second half of the season and going into the end of the stretch here? How have they stepped up?
I mean, first of all, when you're not playing well as an individual, it's frustrating. Um, just personally, it's frustrating. You know, I was a player. If you're not playing well, you know, but I've tried to get them to buy in. There's other ways to impact the game, even if your game isn't going great. And I've really challenged them to lead while it's hard for them. Maybe it's hard for you. Maybe shots aren't falling. Um, there's 100 other ways to impact a basketball game and impact winning. And anybody can lead when it's easy and going well and everything's going in. Lead when it's hard. Lead when it's uncomfortable. Lead when, you know, your world is upside down out there. Be that steadying part with your body language, with your words, with your effort that says, I'm bigger than maybe this individual moment of struggle, and I'm going to give more to my teammates in those moments. And the miraculous thing about what happens when you start giving out of your own struggles is your struggles start to lessen because you're less focused on them. You start highlighting other people's greatness, and in the process, relieve your own self of your own struggles. And, you know, there's so many little life lessons in this game of basketball. It's crazy.